time I was working for Terence Higgins Trust as an immigration solicitor. And I suppose subconsciously I'd gone to Terence Higgins Trust because I thought that that would be a very supportive environment. I had an active sex life throughout my 20s and 30s, so I probably knew that I was going to be HIV positive, and I had some friends who were HIV positive, but still, I was still shocked when I was diagnosed. And as I said, I was diagnosed when I was 34 working at Terence Higgins Trust. And they were a supportive employer, as you could expect them to be, but it's very different working with people who are HIV positive than actually being HIV positive yourself. And when I was at THT, after about 12 months, I just thought, this is too much about HIV. I'm an immigration solicitor dealing with people who have quite serious illnesses, wish to remain in the country because of their status. I'm HIV positive. My life just seems to be about HIV positive. I want to do something else. I want to go back into the outside world, so to speak, and get a job there. So I was looking for a job, and a job came up which was a litigation solicitor for a government department. And I thought, that sounds absolutely perfect for me. So I then thought, oh, what will I do about disclosure? How will I disclose to a new employer? Because with the Terence Higgins Trust, it had just been very ordinary to do. And it's going back, 11 years. So I applied for the job, and then I got the dreaded health questionnaire. And I thought, oh God, here it goes. What am I going to say? Am I going to say I'm HIV positive, or am I just going to ignore it? And I thought about it, and I thought, I don't want to lie. I will just say I'm HIV positive. I'm well, I'm not on treatment, and what will happen will happen. Shortly after submitting that form, they called me up, and I thought, here we go again. They're going to ask questions, because being in Terence Higgins Trust, I'd heard stories about employees who weren't that supportive. So I spoke to the HR department and said, could I come in? I went in. They couldn't have been more supportive. They said, we're just here to let you know that if there's any adjustments you want before you take this job, please let us know. This is about you and us. Your line manager doesn't need to know. It's entirely down to you how you will deal with it. So I was really relieved, started the job, and then after about a couple of months, I thought, well, why wouldn't I tell my line manager? Told my line manager. She was totally supportive, completely understood. Again, said it's your decision whether you want to tell the team or not. And I thought about telling the team, and really just for first aid purposes, I thought I may as well tell the team. Again, they were totally supportive, and that was great. And for about 2 years, I continued without medical treatment. And then my CD4 count fell to below 200, and the viral load was still really high. And the doctor said I should start treatment. So I thought about it, and I don't know why, I just didn't want to admit that I needed treatment, but after a while I thought about it, and they said, is there a convenient time when you can start, because there could be side effects. So I spoke to my work, and they said, well, what's your work diary like? When's not a busy time for you? And the doctor said, you could have a medical note if you wanted it, so that when you start, if you're ill, etc. So I discussed it with my line managers and with my team, and they said, right, okay, this is the time that you can start. And unfortunately, I was ill. I got a terrible rash, and I just got all sweats and all that sort of stuff. So for 2 weeks, I was quite ill, but I planned it with my employee so that I could have those 2 weeks off, so it was no big deal for them. And then I continued with great health, apart from once when I needed to have some time off just to change a medication. But throughout my whole time, I've been well, and I'm sure that's lucky. But also, I think, because there's no stress. I have no stress whatsoever at work. If I need to go to hospital, I can work around that. If I need any support or counselling, again, we have counsellors on hand. Not that I've used them, but they are a totally supportive employee. And for me, I've been there now 10, 11 years. I've been promoted 4 times. I'm now head of the legal team. I run a team with 19 solicitors. Everybody knows about me being HIV positive. It's not an issue for me. And I just think for me, my story is about if you disclose, and I disclose to a supportive employer, it can be the best thing you ever did. And that's my work story.